It's going to be one hell of an offseason for the Cavs. We know there's a lot that they have to get to, and there's a priority to how you do these things, right? Now, there's an order, mostly because first up is you got to find your next head coach. And I know the list that's out there, a lot of the names that we have discussed before. If Kenny Atkinson is the favorite, I think it's interesting, and JJ Redick's name has all of a sudden not been brought up. So that's number one, right? I know that's first up just on the ordering of things. You're not going to go that much further into the future without hiring your head coach. Does that then make it the most important thing for the Cavs this offseason as they approach potential trades with their players? We know Donovan Mitchell. It seems like maybe he's staying now all of a sudden. Was I the only one that felt like he was leaving? Was I the only one? Have I maybe started to move my needle back towards that he's going to stay? All of these moves, I still look at through the lens of what is it going to mean for keeping Donovan Mitchell on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But which one is more important? The hiring of the head coach or the inevitable trades that Kobe Altman is going to have to make with his players, with this roster, and which one will mean more for the future of the franchise? We got plenty of Cavs to get to this morning. Oh, God, the Boston Celtics back. You know, those poor Boston fans, man. They just can't catch a break up there. Celtics back in the finals. What does that mean for the Cavs? We'll discuss that coming up. We do have some Browns to get to. The most complete rosters in the NFL. Top 10 were the Browns on that list, and their number one priority, guard. Hey, man. Win streaks come to an end. It's all good. Back in action. We got a boost, a home run boost when it comes to Tipico. We'll dive in 2 for Tuesday. The Grid, morning update. We got it all for you right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you along after a beautiful 3-day weekend. Certainly, hopefully everybody enjoyed Memorial Day weekend. You know the importance of Memorial Day. So we'll get to that. Enjoyed. It's going to be our second 2 for Tuesday, Ryan. What is the better day to take off to set up a 3-day weekend, Friday or Monday? Now, your gut instantly said, you say Friday.
No. You take off Monday.
You think
you
so?
Work Friday.
All right.
Absolutely.
I was kind of leaning that way, too.
Because you take off Friday, you're already heading into that Friday day at work with momentum.
You already
and
got
an
a
attitude
4-day
like, I just
week.
got to finish up today.
Yep.
Oh, that's so easy.
Duck out a little early on a Friday if you can.
Take off Monday.
Yeah.
Ooh, not even close.
Yeah. I've had that turn, I think, as I get a little older.
Not even close.
I think you're right. I think Monday is the day to take off. So that'll be our second 2 for Tuesday. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit. We'll start with some Cavs this morning as well. Interesting stuff with the Browns. I know they're out in OTAs. And guards, dude, hey, man, you ain't going to win them all. Xavier Curry got tattooed up. So be it. Hey, you're still got a 2.5 game lead. Feeling really good about the guards. So we get to all that coming up. But I started with the Cavs this morning. So obviously the JB news came late in our show on Thursday. And, we're off Friday. We're back here today. Appreciate everybody joining us. The names are the names are the names that you expect, right? Terry Stotts, James Borrego. I think it's interesting that Johnny Bryant continues to be a name brought up. And I bring him up because he was in Utah with Donovan Mitchell. And he was almost like Donovan's personal coach out there. And not a lot. I mean, some people don't know if he's quite ready to be an NBA head coach, but that would certainly be a move that you're doing everything to try to appease and do what Donovan Mitchell wants you to do. That sway of giving into Mitchell versus what's the best for the team, you got to find that middle ground, right? Whoever you hire as the next head coach of the Cavs, I hope Donovan Mitchell's like, yep, big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Right now, I think Kenny Atkinson's the favorite. I said that last week. I think that's exactly where we're at with this team. Mark Stein has said that it seems to be Atkinson and then everybody else, Borrego and Dave Yeager, who I brought up. I discussed something with somebody over the weekend. And this is somebody that's they cover the NBA. I don't want to say the name, but he got this from a pretty reliable source, too. And I hate when people do. It's like, I got sources. I got people. They brought up a scenario that they'd go get a current head coach from another team. And it would be a name that I would like. It's not Doc Rivers, I'll tell you that very much. It's not Kerr. It's not Spoelstra. It's not something like that. But they brought a name up to me. What the hell? I'll say the name. Somebody brought me Quinn Snyder. And he just got to Atlanta. And there's a lot of things going on with Atlanta. They value DeJounte Murray over Trae Young. I would too. I'm not a big Trae Young fan. But there's a lot going on in Atlanta. And that was just something that somebody brought up to me of just keep your eye on that situation. If Atlanta really wants to go back into the tank and full-on rebuild, I don't think Quinn Snyder's hanging around for that. Could you make a move, make a trade? I don't know. The Cavs don't have a lot of assets. I get all that. But something that was brought up to me. But at this moment, we're sitting here. They'll bring in these guys for an interview. I mean, I would say, Ryan, I know it's a short week this week, but this timeline's going to be quick. It's going to move pretty fast here because you want to get this stuff in place because then you got to start attacking the second big part of this offseason, and that is some of these trades that you're going to have to make. So our first two for Tuesday. Which do you think is more important? And I'll leave it open to you, Ryan. Let's talk through it about how you want to label this out. This offseason for the Cavs, there's two things. Trades and your head coach. Now, inevitable, yes, the overarching, the most important thing is Donovan Mitchell. But I can't make that decision. You can't make that decision. Kobe Altman can't even make that decision. Everything else is in Kobe Altman's power. Who he hires as the head coach and what trades he's going to have to make. Make no mistake, they will make trades. They have got to make some sort of trade this offseason. Garland, Allen, whatever it might be, there's a trade coming. We've heard the rumors, a lot of the same teams, right? Maybe even Atlanta. We've heard now the Pelicans with all this kind of push and stuff like that. The Cavs will have to make trades this offseason. Which do you think is more important? Which do you think is more important for the Cavs to nail, to get right? That might be how you do it. Which is more important for the Cavs to get right this offseason? The head coaching hire or the inevitable trades that they will have to make? Either one can sink your franchise or set you up for success. You make the wrong hire, you're in a lot of trouble. You make the wrong trades, you're in a lot of trouble. And conversely, you make the right hire, you make the right trades, you further this team's development, you further your push to try to get back to the NBA Finals. I would say, I think we're a little prisoner of the moment right now. You would say the head coach, because that's what's on the forefront. And you don't have one, and you feel like, yep, we got to hit that, we got to knock it out of the park, that's what we got to do. I got to tell you, I'm leaning more towards these trades are going to be the important piece of this offseason. And I'm not saying the head coach isn't important. It is. But for the future of this team, and what I think you will say more to Donovan Mitchell is what trades you are going to eventually make and what you get into return. Because I come back, and I'm not crapping on Joe Mazzulla or any coach or anything like that. It is a players' league. This is a players' league. We'll go around the association. We'll talk about Game 4 last night. The Pacers had nothing for the Celtics in this series. They fought. Again, I was talking to Brian Winters on ESPN this weekend. Going into Game 4, he goes, there's a world that this is 2-1 Pacers, but it's not, and they got swept out. It's because of the players, and maybe even more specifically for the Celtics, it was some of their role players. You had your stars show up. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum showed up. But that series was Derek White. That series was Drew Holiday, a little bit of Al Horford. It is all about the players, the roster that you have created. Scheme is important. I understand that. But I will always default to having a roster and guys. Like, look where Greg Popovich is at, and they're rebuilding there in San Antonio. Look where Steve Kerr and the Warriors are. It's because the players have fallen off. It's because the roster was not built the right way. So I'll always default to the players. So voting on our 2 for Tuesday this morning, I'll go retweet that at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. I'm at Matt Fontana 83 as well. Of the more important thing for the Cavs to get done this offseason, I don't think about it for a second, Ryan. I think this is player trades all the way. And do you think I'm wrong for putting that out there to say, like, these trades will happen, right? I'm not trying, this isn't Greg Newsom. This isn't me trying to wish away somebody. Just the way the Cavs are currently constructed, what they have no choice but to make some moves.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not they decide to run it back with Darius Garland, as Kobe Altman in his presser said, the numbers will show you that they actually do work well together. Well, we have eyes for a reason. But anyway, I mean, the Jared Allen's kind of inevitable.
Stats are a weird thing. You use stats to further your narrative, usually whatever your narrative is.
It's all confirmation bias.
Yeah, exactly.
Jared Allen, yeah, I think certainly. I mean, that's the feel we get as Jared Allen's going to get moved on one way or another. So I'm going to vote player trades as well.
Yeah.
Because like you said it, outside of every other sport, NBA is the most player-centric. Like, yes, Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback, and he can do it all, but their defense is a big, big part. You go as far as your superstars take you in the NBA. That's without a doubt. And we saw last year, as good as Donovan Mitchell was, it wasn't enough.
And especially, like, I know Darius Garland is a good player, had a really rough year, but if they really want to hold on to that they think this could work, okay, fine. But maybe it is time to shake it. Just try something else. Like, I know what I'm going to get from Donovan Mitchell on any given night. You've tried it this way. It hasn't worked. Maybe it's time just to try something new. And it's not as easy to snap the finger. Here's the thing. What is the harder of the two to do? The player trades. We're sitting here saying, and I loved how you put it, the more critical area. It is the player trades, and that's the one you have the least amount of hold on, right? You can go hire whoever you want. I doubt very much if you interview these guys, they're going to tell you no, right? The list of candidates you can pick, and they'll be your head coach. Not that easy with Kobe Altman. You can't just fire up the NBA trade machine on ESPN and go, yeah, we'll make this move here. We'll bring LeBron on back. That's fine. It ain't happening, right? So you have to deal with these teams with, again, limited assets, limited cap space, and all that. And also how you will then be judged on these moves. These moves, it's not going to be, 3 years down the road. You will be judged on these moves 3 games into this season. The hair trigger that the Cavs
are. Win now.
You're in win now. You are.
The second you traded for Donovan Mitchell, you were in win now mode.
And that's why, like, the draft picks, I want them mostly as trade pieces. Like, I'm back in that LeBron era. I would trade every pick that we could, and we pretty much already have. I would trade almost every one of them to bring in players for the now. Players that you know who they are, what they do on an NBA court. Yeah, you could find the next Giannis and the next Jokic, maybe, sure. You are in a win now mode. And what that says to Donovan Mitchell is also vitally important in this whole thing. To the coaching side of it, because I'm going to try, again, Ryan and I are on the same page. Which is more critical for the Cavs to get right this offseason, the player trades or the coaching? We both feel player trades here. Let's talk about coaching for a second, though. Is anybody on that list really that, like, paramount to you? If you sat there and you're trying to decide between Dave Yeager and Stotts and Kenny Atkinson, like, it just gets in the minutia. It gets, and again, I think Kenny Atkinson is a good hire, but it kind of, I think, is a product of the NBA. It's not NFL coaching. You know, when you go in this NFL coaching, so you know every assistant, you know every coordinator, you know who's up for the next job. NBA coaches, I don't feel that. And you've seen a lot of teams try to go make that splash, and it has failed, right?
So many times.
Doc has not worked. How many people in Phoenix are like, oh, Frank Vogel, great hire, right? Well, where are we at right now? Budenholzer was available. Nick Nurse has been moved on. That's the other weird thing about the NBA. You got Pop, you got Spoelstra, you got Kerr. Those are about the three. And I guess maybe a little Tom Thibodeau now in New York that are like, oh, they're entrenched in their job. Everybody else is just kind of like, you're just turning it over here and there. Teams that are even in that win now. Phoenix was in that win now mode, and they went and got a guy. And they go, oh, hey, he's coached the Lakers. He's been there. He's done it. Bring him in. Where's he at? Gone. And what did they do? They went and got another guy that's almost like replacing Frank Vogel. With Frank Vogel, you went and got Mike Budenholzer.
And it's so different in the NBA compared to, like, we're just using the NFL, for example. Like, I think of guys in the upper echelon of coaching in the NFL. Obviously, you have your Bill Belichick's, your Andy Reid's, and this is just more recent, your Sean McVay's. Like, a guy like Sean McVay won a Super Bowl and is still assumed by many to be a top 5 NFL head coach.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And they haven't had much success since that Super Bowl victory. But the Rams are nowhere ever thinking about moving on from Sean McVay. Go look at the Suns, like you said, Mike Budenholzer with the Bucks. He won a championship. 2 years later, gone. Now he's going on to another, quote unquote, these super teams. Like, they don't last in the NBA is my point.
No.
And outside of your, like, Steve Kerr's for the Golden State, and then even Eric Spoelstra, I would say, which Eric Spoelstra is kind of an anomaly because he's actually made it work with non-superstar centric teams. Like Steve Kerr had Curry, Klay Thompson, and all that. But like outside of Spoelstra, he's like the anomaly in the NBA right now, I would say.
Well, and especially with, again, I'm just kind of crapping on their profession. Like, how important is an NBA head coach? I know people in the circles would tell me I'm wrong and you got to have the fit, you got to have the scheme and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, especially with that list, dude, throw him in a hat for me. Throw him in a hat. Stotts, Atkinson, Yeager, Borrego, Johnny Bryant, dude, throw him in a hat. Part of that has got to be, too, Donovan Mitchell and what that means to him. But I think as Donovan sits down, yes, you'd like a coach that maybe has a connection or you could sell him on this guy or whatever. And again, Kenny Atkinson brings a resume, a guy that's done it before, maybe a little more veteran. It's a little more safe, maybe, that you would look at as opposed to Borrego or maybe Johnny Bryant, sure. But it's still, if I'm Donovan, that's piece one of the puzzle. It's not the biggest piece. It's who's around me. Who am I going to be able to default to? And especially watching as the playoffs have gone on, bro, I don't know. Who's my Derek White in this team? Right? Who is even my Drew Holiday? And it's not that easy to make those kind of moves. And, where does Milwaukee look right now for letting Holiday leave? Like, yeah, you've built that team up. And that starts when your stars show up. Jaylen Brown had a great series. Jason Tatum had a good series. Like, you start with that, and then you fill in the rest of the roster. The same thing's going on there in Dallas. They'll probably finish it out, I think, maybe tonight. And you look at the second tier of guys. You ain't going anywhere without tier one. You're not going anywhere without stars. And now, what does it tell you, too? You probably should have two. Right now, you got Donovan Mitchell. Maybe if you get Evan Mobley there, sure. But that's where Donovan looks around and says, all right, who's the rest of the guys on the floor? Coaching is great. That's fine. The other thing, why I think the player trades are more important, they'll fire a coach in 2 seconds. Like there's no, it's going bad, they're going to make a move. And that is more easily remedied than a bad player trade. With where the Cavs are at, the player trade will sink you so much more than the wrong head coaching move. You make the wrong head coaching move, just go back to that list and get somebody else in here and you're back off to the races, right? You screw this player trade up, or player trades, because they're probably going to be two. You screw that up, you're in a bad spot. You're in a much worse spot for keeping Mitchell, for getting back to the finals, for all that kind of stuff. So without a doubt, I think it is the player trades.
So let me ask you this then, and
yes.
I totally agree with what you're saying, obviously, but that brought up the point of, we're talking about player trades. Like, you go back last year, if Niang was good, if Strus was good, I mean, we could be talking about a world where we did go to the Eastern Conference Finals, where J.B. Bickerstaff did enough to where this year we'd feel good running it back.
Yeah.
And it's like he gets a short end of the stick while Kobe Altman gets to run it back, It's like...
Well, that's another thing, too.
Yeah.
You could be more concerned about the guy pulling the trigger on this whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Like, you and I could probably make a head coaching hire. Go with the default. I don't think anybody burn you for Kenny Atkinson. They'll burn you for making a bad trade, though.
They have longer leashes.
And the pressure is more apparent on the player trades to have that be an instant result. And what do you ask for? An instant fix. Nobody was happy with how the Cavs season played out and finished out, right? Yeah, how much you put Mitchell's injury into that, all that, but still, you need instant impact from these players to fit, again, a system that you don't even have in place yet. They'll bring in a coach, and the other thing, like, when they hire when they hire Coach X, whoever it's going to be, they'll sit down and they'll have some discussion about what do you think or what are you going to run. How much that will impact Kobe making these trades, I don't know, right? Like, normally on the again, we keep comparing to the NFL, you need this player to run this kind of system or this kind of quarterback, things like that. I'm still almost like separating the coach from this, and I'm saying, who are the players that are going to run with Donovan Mitchell in this? Who are going to be the guys that you can sit next to him, put next to him, and run, again, a specific offense, but you're still going to need guys that supplement what Donovan Mitchell needs. And Donovan Mitchell's smart. He knows guys that he likes. Maybe he loves Brandon Ingram. Go trade for him. Go trade for him. Go bring him in. Then you bring in contracts. Then you bring in maybe picks. Obviously, we'll have the draft pick coming up, all that. I mean, dude, it's a lot on Kobe Altman. And I still think if he's going to nail one, if I need him to get something right this offseason, it has got to be the player trades. It's just got to be. Coaching side of things, that list is fine. You know, and again, whoever they hire, nothing's going to take away this bad taste. You know, the next big news is going to be, what do you do with these trades? You'll get that, I think, maybe even before Mitchell. Okay, let me ask you about Mitchell, because we've gotten more over the weekend that it's leaning like he's going to stay. You had Marcus Morris out there speaking on a podcast, and he goes, I'd be shocked if he left. I really would be. And this is coming from me, who I've said on the show that I thought he was leaving. And I'd love to be wrong. Not all the time, but in this one, I would love to be wrong on that. And maybe Donovan sees something that I don't. Maybe he feels the future of this team is one that he can build with and go win a championship. Great. Awesome. Welcome back, man. Glad to have you here. Sign that extension. We can make some moves from there. I mean, I think, does Kobe put a little pressure on Dom? Like, we really need the ink on that paper, man. We need that dry before we start making some of these moves, and just to know what our money's going to be.
Do you think it's as black and white as, and I don't even know if Donovan Mitchell would do this, put them in this ultimatum, but I mean, he has all the power, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just that black and white that Donovan says, hey, this is who I want to be our next head coach, and I'll sign?
I would do it.
And I'll sign an extension if he's here.
If there was a coach that meant you got a Donovan Mitchell extension, I'm hiring them in 5 minutes. Now, Johnny Bryant might be that guy. Again, the personal coach for Donovan when he's out there in Utah, associate head coach with the Knicks. There's some people that don't feel like he's ready, but if that means Donovan's going to stick around, if it literally, you sign him and I'm in, I'm doing that. No question. And, I mean, what did Boston think they had with Joe Mazzulla, right? He got forced into that job with Ime Udoka leaving there. He's done all right. Now, you go back and say, look at the job Brad Stevens has done in the front office, making the moves that he has. It's the perfect storm. I'll live with it. And it gives you then the freedom, if Donovan were to sign, making those moves. I don't say in a like, here's the thing. I don't know how much Donovan's status changes your moves. I would still make every move. Well, I guess I would have to. What I'm saying is, I'm operating like Donovan's going to stay, right? Kobe Altman's got to operate that Donovan Mitchell is staying. So go make the trades that he's staying. And even if he didn't, you probably still made good trades for your team. You still probably did the right thing on the way out of getting the right players in here for one reason or another. You're improving the roster. I would always take improved roster over coaching in the NBA. And again, when it's a list like that, nobody's really jumping out to me. Want to hire Kenny Atkinson? Go for it. All right, that's our first two for Tuesday. Quick results early on that one, Ryan. More critical for the Cavs to get right this offseason, the player trades or the coaching hire?
66% say player trade.
That's right. I mean, that's where we're at. We agree on that. Second two for Tuesday, as always, 2 questions, 2 answers. Better day to set your 3-day weekend up. Take Friday off or take Monday off. I was shocked. I thought, Ryan, you were going to lean Friday. You say absolutely not. Monday's the day to take off.
Yeah, 100%. I don't even think it's not even really close for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Friday, I guess it's depending on like what your weekend will constitute. And I'm sure a lot of people are off on Friday. We were too. So Friday, you get the jump. You can treat Friday as a bonus Saturday, right? You're going out or you're traveling or you want to get to your spots. Friday is the more apt day. There's more things going on. It's a little more live. Now, Monday, if you're off that day, you come back to a short week, which is great. it gets you maybe even more of that like relax day as you get ready to get back to work and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think I lean Friday. Like, taking Friday off, it makes that week feel shorter because you're just on the race to get there. You're on the race to get to that Friday. You can enjoy your Thursday night. Thursday's my favorite day of the week. So you get your Thursday you can enjoy. You're doing whatever you're going on Friday. I think I might actually lean Friday. So again, the question is, which is the better day to take off to set up your 3-day weekend, Friday or Monday? I'm going to go Friday. I'm going to go. You know,
because, I'm just tweeting this. I'm saying taking Monday off 100%. Friday, you go to work with momentum and hype that you get to do whatever your fun weekend is going, and you get to not go in on the worst day of the week, in my opinion, which is a Monday.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess you're right, because then the Sunday scaries hit pretty hard when you're off
really
on Friday, and like
you
build it up.
And you get a day at work where you know you have something super to look forward to after.
You talking about
if you take off, like you get instead of working Monday, knowing, oh my God, here's this whole week ahead of me now. You get to take off Friday, and that Friday you work Friday, and that Friday that you work,
Friday's usually a getaway day for some people anyway.
Yeah, you're not working that hard. It's a Friday, and then you get to go enjoy it. Yeah,
I'll listen to that. All right, I'll listen to that. Better day to take off to set up the 3-day weekend. I went Friday. Because I just think it gets you that bonus Saturday. Like, I'm in a different world now. We have kids. We went up to the lake this weekend. It was a fantastic weekend to be able to get away. So, like, to enjoy Friday as my bonus Saturday, and then yesterday kind of like felt like a Sunday.
I mean, it depends.
And Sundays, Sundays are fine, but like they don't. I don't know. Sundays really don't do it for me anymore.
I mean, it's like if you're for instance taking off Friday because like you get to leave Thursday night, you get to wake up there Friday.
Right, like that's the other thing. Like a trip type thing, that's different. If you're going, I'm going on a trip this weekend, I fly out Thursday night. You very clearly want that. You don't want to waste your Friday traveling if you're trying to get somewhere. Because Friday, in essence, I guess, again, why I keep leaning to take Friday. Friday's already a great day. Your point is, you take off Monday, you're turning a crappy day into a good day because Monday sucks.
Yes.
I'm saying you're off on Friday, you're like boosting up an already great day. You're already feeling good and, all that. And
your scenario has a higher ceiling, but I'm going with the safer
You're going with the
floor.
floor. I like that. I like where you're a little player there. Yeah. I'm going with the potential. You're going with the no.
With the safe floor.
There you go. So vote on that at Matt Fontana Show on our 2 for Tuesdays. Let's football. We're going to talk a little football here for a minute. Couple things this morning from the Browns. So they're back at OTAs today. They're, Deshaun Watson throwing off and on, whatever. Good news. Great. I got 2 things this morning I thought were great from NFL.com. I'll leave it to you, Ryan, which one you want first. The biggest remaining priority for the Browns in the offseason, it's not necessarily a player related. It's not like go make this move, right? It's the offseason priority for the Browns or the NFL's most complete rosters.
I think complete rosters would be more fun, so let's save it.
Okay, save that. So we start with the priority for the Cleveland Browns this offseason. I think this was Kevin Patra this morning. And just to give you a little idea of some of the other teams, like Baltimore, top priority, add to the offensive line. Buffalo, to decide if Von Miller can recapture his previous form. Narrator, he can't. He's cooked. Bengals, top priority, stay healthy in the offseason. For the Cleveland Browns, get Deshaun Watson acclimated to Ken Dorsey. Kevin writes, yes, head coach Kevin Stefanski remains the play caller and offensive leader, but Cleveland expects Dorsey to play a more significant role with Watson. It's no secret that in 2 abbreviated seasons with the Browns, the quarterback has been a big disappointment. We know, injury, flack, all that kind of stuff. Dorsey helped usher Josh Allen's development in Buffalo as both the quarterback coach, but also the passing game coordinator. With Stefanski calling plays, Dorsey can focus on getting the best out of Watson in 2024. More struggles from the highly paid quarterback. It'll be panic button time in Cleveland. Sky is gray. Well, this morning it is. Yes, it's all on Deshaun Watson. And that was something that, Kevin Stefanski, when Alex Van Pelt was here, that was AVP's job. First with Baker Mayfield. Here's your quarterback. You're the quarterback coach. Do everything you can to get him up to speed. They tried it for 2 years with Alex Van Pelt. Didn't obviously get out of it what they want. Again, suspension, then injury. But they make this move with Ken Dorsey. And I don't want to boil it down so simple to say, like, it is all on Deshaun Watson, because I agree with Kevin with what he's saying here. I think Stefanski's calling plays. I think he's going to call plays this season. They're open to Ken Dorsey doing that. I'm sure that was discussed in the hiring process, but I like that role for Ken Dorsey. I like that role of sitting down. You are Deshaun Watson's guy. You got to build that relationship. They went out to LA this offseason to get to know each other and all that kind of stuff. Your job is to get Deshaun Watson right. With not even Watson with the deal and all. Your franchise quarterback is the most important player for your team, for your organization, for everything. They should almost be dedicated a singular guy. That can't be Kevin Stefanski. He's got to do it all. He's got to be out there on the OTA field working on hand placement with D tackles and talking to linebackers and dealing with Jim Schwartz, on top of then calling plays. So I like that role from Ken Dorsey. The other thing, that role is too important to just hand to some offensive quality coach, right? Like, you need somebody that has the resume that Ken Dorsey does to sit down with Watson and say, every little move, every little thing she does, which is a great song, everything that Deshaun Watson does, Ken Dorsey can be right there with him. Every single step of the way, it's going to be getting the most out of Deshaun Watson. That's number one for Ken Dorsey, but also kind of for the Browns. So that's where I like, if that is truly the mark, if that is truly the thing of just sitting there and saying, this is it. This is your job. Even more than play calling, even more than what our yards above expected average is on runs or this, it's all about Deshaun Watson. And the coaching, I mean, it's to a point where Deshaun Watson's still a really good player. Like, I don't think he has mechanical issues. I don't think this is something they're trying to recreate him. But he needs somebody, and even when you fold in Jameis Winston, he's going to need a team behind him. What did you see on this throw? What are you thinking here? What's going on here? To push him, to elevate him, to get him there. And knowing this just comes back to a true evaluation. You could do all the right things. Ken Dorsey could get Deshaun Watson to prime Deshaun Watson, and he still goes out and plays poorly. That still is a reality. I don't want it to be, but it's still an option, right? At least then I have an idea where my team is going. When we come to this fork in the road about where are we going with Watson, what's going on here, all that kind of stuff, at least I got the best version of Deshaun Watson. And I'm putting that on Ken Dorsey, 1,000%.
Do you see there being for this season a play calling leash at all for Stefanski? Like, if you're in week 6 and Deshaun Watson still is faltering and he's not living it up, do you dare switch to Dorsey calling plays? Because I think from me and your standpoint, and the people have watched Kevin Stefanski have success play calling with numerous quarterbacks, especially just last year.
See, real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. You're so right, but then there's just the Stefanski bias starts to come in, because even when he has good plays, people don't want to give him credit, or they still want to rip him for this or that.
And so if that becomes a point where you're sitting there middle of the season, do you consider giving Ken Dorsey play calling boots?
1,000 times easier to go from Stefanski to Dorsey than Dorsey to Stefanski, right? Because if let's say Dorsey starts the season as your play caller and you're 6 games in and you're not getting what you think, that's drama when you take that away from him. What I think you should do is what we're talking about. Start out with, Ken, here's Deshaun, focus on it. Worry about that. Get your feet wet on this system, because let's also not forget, this is still Kevin Stefanski's system. I'm not saying that Dorsey's not going to sprinkle some of his stuff in here and there. This is still Kevin Stefanski's system. So you got to get Ken Dorsey up to speed before you make any decisions, right? Focus on Watson, focus on your growth, and you're right. 6 games in, you don't think it's working all that well, or you need a spark, or let's say that Watson has even gotten to that level. Dorsey has done his job. Watson is primed. He's good. You then might feel comfortable of turning it over to Ken Dorsey. That's like, break glass in case of emergency. You flip. Stefanski gives it to Dorsey, then he takes it back. That's drama. But you would say, like, Stefanski's more comfortable doing it. There is a floor there with him doing it. Yeah. I mean, the easier thing would be to just, and Kevin Stefanski put it that way. Like, listen, we've had 6 games. Let's say things have gone bad. And he could just say, I feel comfortable making this move now. And they could guise it that way. Ken's done enough. It's time to do this. But it would have to be, you're not seeing what you need to on offense, or there really is something that they're missing. That's a spark. That's like a jump start. When you make a move like that, that means something's stagnant. That means, and it's not always the solution, right? The play calling gets to be the easy answer when in reality, was the receiver in the same position that he was supposed to be? Did the receiver or did the quarterback make the right move there? Did he make the right read? It's not always as simple as, just flip the play caller. It's the easy thing to do, but it's not always the right answer. So the priority being getting Ken Dorsey to Deshaun Watson. The sooner you can get that, then you can get to the play calling stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, priority's number one has got to be Dorsey getting ready to go with Watson. Once you do that, then maybe I'll open the door up to that play calling change. For right now, I want it to be Stefanski. I think it's going to be Stefanski. We'll see how it plays out. You want to go around the rest of the AFC North?
Yeah.
So again, for the Ravens, top priority of the offseason, offensive line help. Who the hell else are they going to get, right? And just the write-up was like they brought in a second-round pick, guard tackle, Ronnie Stanley's been injured, all that kind of stuff. Top priority for the Bengals is to stay healthy, probably more with Burrow when it comes to his wrist. Like, I would assume nobody is really getting hurt at this point of things. Kansas City's priority. Find out if a rookie in Kingsley Suamataia can start at left tackle. Okay.
Yeah, it's a kid out of BYU.
Okay. They got Juwan Taylor. They got Donovan Smith. Like, that's probably not great for Patrick Mahomes, but it's still Patrick freaking Mahomes. Pittsburgh. Add wide receiver depth. Get rid of Deontay Johnson. They still have George Pickens.
Yeah, they just have
they got guys
stacked of scrubs.
Yeah, Roman Wilson they drafted. They got Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Quez Watkins. Whether it's Fields or Russell Wilson, I guess added the receiver room. So that was off-season priority for a bunch of teams. Other this morning on NFL.com, they did the top 10 most complete rosters. Eric Edholm went into it. And obviously, quarterback will always lead this charge, right? It'll always be one of the most important things. You don't got a quarterback, you're wasting your time. But he looks at it all, right? Defensive line, offensive line, tight ends, receivers, all of that. And he comes up with the top 10 most complete rosters in the NFL. I'm going to start at 1. We'll see if the Browns are on this list. Gut feeling, I'm telling you, I clicked on it because I felt like they had to be, right?
From just barely thinking about this, I think the Browns legit have a top 5 roster.
Okay.
I really do.
I felt the same. And we, obviously, with how the defense played last year, you bring in Jerry Jeudy.
What's your clamor outside of Deshaun Watson?
You got, maybe receivers outside of Amari Cooper.
But at that point,
you got questions on the offensive line. It's not the same offensive line. It's not quite what it used to be. You got some guys on that D line. It's not like you have the combo of all combos there. Your defensive backfield's set. You're solid. Dustin Hopkins, good, right? It's the whole roster. So I did click on it because I said, if you're going top 10, I feel like the Browns have got to be on this list. Are they? Let's go. Number 1. All right, let me do this for you. Which, if you had to guess, Eric Edholm, the most complete NFL team, who do you think it is?
Right now, maybe the Eagles.
Good guess, but no.
What are the Eagles?
Eagles are 5.
Okay.
5 for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
This is a team that I would say is actually number 1 for me. Because when you look at this team, you're just like, damn, they got all those guys. They're pretty stacked.
Okay, well, where are we talking about with the 49ers.
The 49ers are correct.
I don't know how that slipped my mind.
McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk.
That was a blind spot.
Warner, Bosa, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Hargrave. They look like a Pro Bowl roster, right? They look at it. You look at the 49ers, and that's like GM porn for all of the players that they've been able to acquire. So the number 1 most complete team is the San Francisco 49ers. Number 2?
See, okay, based on your reaction, and I thought about it, and I'm going to say, and I could legit make an argument for it, and it's on paper, I understand that, but from what we saw last year and what we're gauging and projecting into next year, I wouldn't be shocked if his number 2 was the Houston Texans.
It's not. It's not. It is another AFC team. It's an AFC North team. The Baltimore Ravens? Okay, Lamar, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, fine.
Derrick Henry. No.
You know where I'm at with Derrick Henry.
I mean, they lost Patrick Queen, but they still have Kyle Hamilton,
Jadeveon Clowney, Darby, Roquan Smith, all still there. So he says, and these are all guys that he brings up. Keaton Mitchell, that rookie from last year, tore his ACL coming back. He says the Ravens are the second most complete team in the NFL. I'm not saying they shouldn't be on this list. I don't know about number 2. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs are 3. Mahomes, they bring in Marquise Brown, still a really solid defense. A lot of questions about Rashid Rice and his offseason issues and all that. They're pretty well built. Number 4, Detroit Lions. They got a lot of players across the board. We talked about the Eagles at 5. Number 6, the Cincinnati Bengals. Good receivers. Don't know so much about that defense. I'm not a big Trey Hendrickson guy. I know he wants to get traded now. Okay, fine. Number 7, Houston Texans. Number 8, the Green Bay Packers. And at number 9, your Cleveland Browns. Eric writes, the Browns arguably made only one major veteran acquisition this offseason and a depleted draft haul, but the amount of talent that returns from injury helps put them on this list. Jerry Jeudy acquired from trade. Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and Jeudy likely opened the season as Deshaun Watson's top receiving options with Seth Tillman and Elijah Moore. Running back Nick Chubb and Jack Conklin still working their way back from knee injuries, in addition to Juan Jones and Jed Wills. If Cleveland's O-line can return to form, with strong interior and decent depth, Watson and the injured players give this offense a higher variance, but it looks to be a better group on paper than maybe on the field. Ooh, that's scary. Cleveland's defense, one of the best in the NFL last season, and it won't be surprising if that's the case again. Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith are back, Dalvin Tomlinson, Quentin Jefferson, Michael Hall brought in, Hicks, JOK, Ward, Emerson, Greg Newsome, along a unremarkable but fairly deep group at safety. So unremarkable, is what he writes there for Grant Delpit and crew. Then 10 is the Jets. So again, of the top 10 most complete rosters, Eric Edholm puts the Browns at 9. Down there a little far for you?
I'm okay with it. I think it says a lot that they're still top 10 based on the question at quarterback because we know how big it is.
If you had Joe Burrow, you're 3 on this list.
Right. I mean, if you had Lamar, you're flipped with them. Yeah. You'd probably be number 1, honestly. It's all those quarterbacks you named that are above them, they're very good quarterbacks. I mean, even Jared Goff, I'm assuming he projects is better. Even Jordan Love, I think, is a tier above that for sure. So I'm not surprised. And I mean, yeah, a lot of those teams, I mean, they made a splash this offseason. You know, we didn't necessarily, but that was because last year, I mean, we brought in a ton of free agents, the veterans you mentioned, and they're returning, which is a good thing. I think it says a lot that we're still top 10.
I think it's like when you talk about on paper, right? Like that's what Eric was talking about there. It's all, why are you saying on paper? It's because of the injuries. It's because you don't know what some of these guys are going to look like when they come back off injuries. You know, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, I don't know what I'm going to see out of Nick Chubb. Like, the Browns have got to believe in Nick Chubb coming back to this team, but he's not going to be the same. There's no way, right? So now you think about how you got to do it differently, how different the offensive line is going to look, and it's not a sexy position anymore. Like, you're right. If Deshaun Watson was better, the Browns would be up on this list, and it's just one. I respect Eric.
Do you still have that list pulled up? Because I can tell you this will be a perfect indicator of that. Because the team you haven't mentioned yet is the Bills, and they're kind of vice versa.
Not in top 10.
They have such an elite quarterback, arguably top 3, but you look around,
Jack Swat,
zero weapons outside of maybe Dalton Kincaid.
Right, exactly. And all these teams, of the 10 teams, there isn't one that doesn't have a franchise quarterback.
But like, what are the Bills ranked?
They just win top 10.
Okay.
He just did top 10. So like, if you're not in this list, you're amongst the rest.
Because I was going to say, my point is that like if he had the Bills maybe at like 18, that would be so indicative of how much value that quarterback position is into this range.
And I would say, again, maybe he's devaluing the defense a little bit. Like, it's weird to say that you're 9 on this list with, at worst, a top 3 defense. Maybe, or again, probably the best. So you're selling that short. you got to see what Judy's going to have, but again, it all comes back to Watson and why I think he's down there at 9. Because the rest of these teams, again, I'd sit there and be like, would you rather have Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, or the receiving core of the way? You can divide that up all you want, but it's come back to the quarterback. If you put Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and I'm not even going to say Lamar or Mahomes or anything like that. You put CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Jared Goff on this, that's it. That's all you need. Comes back to the conversation we had last week talking with Noah Weisskopf. I need a top 12 quarterback. That's it. I don't need Deshaun Watson to be the 4th best quarterback. I just need him in the top 12. And then let everything else take over the way that you need it to. Are you worried about the defense being able just to run it back and do the same? I had somebody that I talked to, not recently, and the analogy this person made was pitchers in baseball. When they first come up, like that's Skeens or Livy Dunn's friend. He comes up and blowing guys. So he throws 101 miles an hour. Wait till his 6th start and his 10th start when they get a little book. There's some thoughts that, Jim Schwartz's defense might get figured out a little bit. Now, I'll go back to, you don't need to figure out much with Myles Garrett. Get quarterback, tackle him. He's that good. You can do whatever you want. But some of that other stuff, like, it's not quite as easy just to roll it on back. Say, oh, hey, this is what we did last year. This is what worked. These are the players that worked. There's still got to be a change there, a little bit of it. And here's the thing. I'm leaving the door open for them to even get better, right? As much as I'm sitting here saying offenses will get ready for that defense, imagine how much better they're going to be in year 2 of this system.
Yeah, and especially in today's NFL, I don't even need the Browns defense to be as dominant as they were last year. I just need them to be more consistent when they hit the road. The numbers speak for themselves when they play at the dog pound. But when they go on the road, it was noticeably a big gap. And if Deshaun Watson plays better and the offense has that uptick, then you don't need them to be as dominant as they are in specific games. You just need them to be consistent across the board, which I think is very realistic for year 2 under Jim Schwartz.
Yeah. Ooh, we got some news out of the NFL this morning, actually. Tom Pelissaro tweets, could we be seeing the end of OTAs? So we're in the middle of this right now. Browns have 3 weeks of OTAs. This is the voluntary stuff. It's like 3 days a week. They're on the field. Then you get into mini camp, which is mandatory. Break, you're into training camp. Pelissaro tweets this morning. The NFL Players Association is working on finalizing a proposal to overhaul the offseason starting as soon as next year, eliminating voluntary on-the-field work in spring in favor of a longer training camp ramp-up, with the players reporting in mid-June for their training camp. So imagine this. You get rid of this time and you tack it on to the start of training camp. I'm not in the game. I don't know what I don't know. My gut would say keep it the way that it is. Wouldn't you want to come get a little bit of work in, then take whatever. But you know what this is. This is getting ready for that 18-game season. This is the negotiations, which are starting, about what they're going to have to give the players. If they want a lesser offseason or this change to the offseason, the NFL will grant that wish. And that is maybe, would that be then easier for adding that game? If you just say, hey, we're going to add it into training camp, we're going to get a little bit longer? Maybe. But that just came out this morning. So potentially limiting OTAs to do a longer training camp to get ready to go for the season. I just think that's all work towards the 18-game schedule that they'll get to. And that's just a bargaining chip, too. Because I think the NFL, I don't know what else they have to give to players other than just more money. Getting rid of it? I'm a little shocked, actually, the PA's not saying, get rid of OTAs altogether, and we'll still do our regular training camp. Coaches would hate that, man. These coaches want these guys in there as much as they can, get up to speed on the system, keep them in the building, try to keep them out of all that kind of stuff. That factors in. But as they try to find these little pieces to negotiate back and forth, that came out this morning, about OTS coming out this weekend. Jose Ramirez better than Barry Bonds. Do you see that? So obviously the Angels, they intentionally walked with the bases loaded, and Hoynesy asked Jose what he felt like about that. It ended up being the win and run. And he goes, I'm better than Barry Bonds. I love that from Jose. Listen, Barry Bonds, roids or not, probably the best baseball player of all time, 7-time MVP. I just loved hearing that from Jose Ramirez. But is that not the biggest sign of respect? Maybe in sports, that you could have, that you walk a guy with the bases loaded? Yeah. What a tear Jose is on right now. The fact that he's not getting more AL MVP love is shocking. You know what? It's not shocking to me because that's what happens with this team, with this town, and specifically Jose Ramirez. But it's a bunch of bull crap is what it is. And I hope he gets back up there, and I hope the writers know that, and they see it, and they're the ones that vote on this. And I'm not saying he's going to win the MVP like Juan Soto's the favorite right now. Jose deserves more. He is on a tear right now. Guardians, okay, you fall yesterday. Just start another streak. Just start another streak. That's fine. Still got a 2.5 game lead. But, man, those Royals are not going away. And they've lost 2 straight on their own right. Got a 2.5 game lead. But you got to take care of the Rockies. Like, okay, you lose that one. We're going to get to our boost coming up with Tipico. I feel like the Guardians are going to – I think they might actually clobber the Rockies tonight. I think tonight might actually be more than a 1-2 run win here for the Guardians. Keep that in mind with Tipico. We'll get to that coming up a little bit. But you get back on track tonight. Okay, Xavier Curry to fill in. If you're, I saw a tweet from somebody this way. If you're going to start complaining about the 7th starter that you're going to have to put in there, what are we doing? You know, and they put up some runs. He walked a couple guys, kind of fell off. I'm starting to wonder a little about Josh Naylor, though, man. He's been on a little bit of a rough streak so far. He's had a bad month. Yesterday, 0 for 5. His average is tanked at 229. Yeah, we might need to be finding like an extended little sit down here for Josh Naylor. And
man, talk about
like
it's way too early.
And that can make it worse.
It's way too early to talk about like
a phantom IL visit there.
No,
ankles a little busted maybe.
I'm talking about like it's way too early to project this slump to continue prolonged like very long. But it's like just in this short 2-month period, how much probably less his trade value went from 2 months ago to now.
Oh, you're talking about trading Josh Naylor? I thought I was a Josh Naylor hater on this show.
That's why I said we're not getting into that yet because it's way too hard to project. I'm just stating probably a fact. I'm not saying to trade him. I'm just saying his value 2 months ago was probably drastically different than it is now.
Then you bring in Stephen Vogt into this whole thing. That's a balls. I mean, here's the thing. Josh Naylor's scuffling. It happens. It happens. Some of the best players. Now, what the issue is that this is a prolonged scuffle. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's been over a week.
Yes.
Usually good hitters, you get out of it within a week or two. Can Vogt walk in there and say, yeah, man, we got to sit you down. We got to get you, or drop him in the lineup. Like, there's something about baseball. And if you ever played the game, like to Little League, through high school, whatever, there's something to be said about being that guy or girl. When you show up, you know, I'm batting third and I'm playing third base. That is Jose Ramirez. Andres Gimenez shows up. He is your starting second baseman. He's batting second. That's it. When Steven Kwan comes back, good weekend for him on the rehab. He's your leadoff hitter. He's playing left field. There are guys that just do not come out of the lineup. Josh Naylor should be on that list. I am showing up. I'm batting fourth, whether I'm playing first or I'm DHing, either of the two, but I don't come out of the lineup. Sorry, man. Something's got to change here. Something is going to have to change.
Doesn't it make it a little more hard as well when you factor in how well David Fry's been playing?
See, that is like, I don't want to lose that magic of David Fry. I don't want to all of a sudden put it on him. But, I mean, how can you not keep batting him? Batting 344. That OPS that he joined Hall of Famers at this point of the season about what David Fry is doing. And if it's just dropping Naylor a little bit and putting Fry, I don't know. I mean, you got a subtle move on that. Naylor batted fourth. Fry was at fifth yesterday.
I know, and I know it's still very early to be talking about these things, but it does bring into just the back of your mind of you're not extending both Naylor and Kwan. I don't think that's happening. So I got
probably not.
So I got to imagine it's making the decision a little bit easier to extend Kwan.
Well, I think that decision. There is no decision there for me. I don't know.
But there are people who say extend Naylor because of the power. But I think.
But I can recreate that power with some of the other guys that are doing this, and I'm not even talking about Fry. I'm talking about Jose Ramirez.
Now we're playing Moneyball.
Well, and I don't. What do you do this trade deadline? How different is the because this Guardians team, like. As well as they're playing right now, like if Shane Bieber was a part of this, then I think he would then have been taken off the trade block. I am now staring down the barrel. We got 2 months to go on, about a month and a half to get to this. I'm asking, begging, pleading, and borderline demanding that the Guardians do something at the trade deadline. And the instant answer would probably be starting pitching. And we've read things about the outfield, which I don't understand, because you get Quan back. That's almost like making a trade. I'm fine with Brennan and Freeman, and you know, when Manzardo gets his bat, that's fine. They damn well better do something.
I think if
you're in this spot, you should still be in a position of looking at winning the division. You go do something. Now, you're right. If Josh Naylor, if this continues with him, there's no point in trading because you ain't going to get anything back for him. So your best hope is exactly what Naylor comes out of this. How does he do that? Bro, you just keep doing what you show up. You're batting fourth, you're DH and your first base. But if he's going to keep going 0 for 5, there eventually will be a break point where you're going to have to do something. I'm gonna lean towards that phantom IL visit. Oh, hey man, the ankle. Sit him down for a little while. Okay. Did Josh Naylor start getting a little full of him? I don't know, right? There was a point where he's on this tear, and you're starting to believe, and you start thinking about it, and that's sometimes when stuff can go to hell. You start actually thinking about it instead of just showing up. I don't know. And that's something that Stephen Vogt's got to think about every single night. When he puts that lineup card together, sitting down saying, it's like it's the same thing in basketball, right? When you got a shooter that is off, you tell him, just keep shooting, right? Eventually it'll come through. Now, I don't know about 1,500 shots a day like Karl Anthony Towns over there, but you just got to keep shooting. Well, Josh Naylor's got to keep seeing pitches. He's still got to see in that lineup, and eventually he'll come back through it. And the thing is, yesterday, 6 runs on any given day is usually enough for you to get a win. Okay.
I'm just imagining doomsday scenarios. Could you imagine if you had told somebody 2 months ago, fast forward a month from now, and this is just me being funny, but we're talking about shopping Naylor brother packages at the deadline.
I mean, Bo Naylor's not been.
Yeah, he's just a piece to throw in.
Well, and as stacked as you are with some of the other guys, you're going to have the first, and I know first overall pick you won't see for at least a couple of years, which I get, but
I'm thinking it's going to be Bazana. I
saw a mock that was him over that Condon kid. Yeah, it will be a position player though. That it's going to have to.
I think
there's some good pitchers in this. I don't know if I need another. It's got to be a
second baseman. Bazana.
Yeah,
and
but
I was thinking you could maybe just move him in as a short.
Sure, or how many of those guys actually stay at the position? You know the Guardians will draft this kid out. Have you played center field before?
Yeah.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
And have you had any discussions? That's like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. That is the Guardians' devil of every single player that comes through. Have you thought about the outfield? Have you ever played right field before? Can you do it? It's just this want to go push them to the outfield. So, you got plenty of baseball to go. You're still in a really good spot. And the rest of the bats, to a point, are showing up. You're still manufacturing. Can I tell you the one that got me, though, was that Bo Naylor, man, when he grounded that double play. Was that the Memorial Day cookout with the family? And, This is a great question. Better off the grill, hot dog or hamburger? Damn, we should have done that for a second, too. I'm talking about off the grill. Off the grill, better hot dog or hamburger? I think I actually might go hot dog.
I'd have to think about it. I'd probably go hamburger.
If you're asking what I'd rather eat the rest of my life, I'm going with a burger. But I can get some good burgers off of a flat top, right? But off the grill with the char on the burger. Because somebody sent out that measure of the hot dog, and it was 1 through 7. And 7 was this charred piece of leather, and 1 being barely cooked. I'm at about a 5 on that. Yeah. I'm at a 5. I don't need it burnt to a crisp. Now, bacon. I want my bacon burnt. Black bacon is the best.
I love turkey bacon.
Do you? Do you really?
I do. Why would I lie
Of
about
all
that?
the things that substitute turkey, bacon is the one that is just, I feel like it misses the mark.
Well, it's
not even close.
Not
even close.
Pigs are my favorite animal. And when I was younger,
a little fun fact there for you.
When I was younger, I loved them so much I refused to eat anything that was pig. So my mom always got me turkey bacon. Now I've grown out of my ways.
I've grown out of your ways. You respect the pig.
I respect the pig, but now I eat them.
Little pulled pork action.
Yeah.
Little obviously bacon, a thick cut bacon on that. Nothing wrong with that, man. Oh man, I housed it. I think I legitimately was in double-digit hot dogs over the weekend. So my uncle, my wife's uncle, did I tell you what he got? He got a hot dog roller. He bought a hot dog roller years ago. So they have a lake house. We go up there, spend time with the family. It's great. Bro, there's nothing like and same thing, going back to the grill, like a dog off of one of the rollers, when it's oiled and just you got to get the bite on the outside, and you still got to, like, you don't want it overcooked on the inside. That roller dog, man. Damn, is that good. I was in double-digit dogs this weekend. It was fantastic. You know what else is fantastic? Let's go, guards! Come on, back on it now. All right.
We're boosted heavy.
Dude, here's where we're at with Tipico, folks. We're jumping in the home run. We're diving straight into deep end now with our boost at Tipico. Use that code Fontana150 when you sign up. You deposit $150, which I understand is a lot. But when you do that with code Fontana150, you will get two $75 protected bets. And then you are on your way to the cashback reward, 5% on the parlays, the best cashback reward in the industry with our friends at Tipico. We're jumping in the home runs. So we'll take the Guardians minus the 1.5 tonight. We'll take over McKenzie's strikeouts. We're going to go with Hosey again. Should have gone maybe. We discussed Josh Naylor on him coming out of this. I don't want to lose Manzardo. I did really want to go Brennan. I feel like he's due, but I just don't know if he's going to be in the lineup tonight or not. So we go with Jose. Ryan, that is a healthy.
Plus 1,250.
Here we go. Boom. Done. Tipico. Code Fontana150. Again, for new customers, terms and conditions apply. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Deposit $150 with that code. Two $75 protected bets. And you're on the way to our boost for tonight when it goes for the Guardians. And I'll tell you this, when we make these boosts, we want your input. We want your help on this. So if you're feeling really good about a certain player hitting something or getting the home run, you let us know. There it goes. I'm in. I'm boosted up. Here we go. $5 gets you 67. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to pull back to my fives. Maybe 250. Dude, if we're getting these boosts, man, if we're getting that level, I don't know if I need to be placing 10s on that. So we're going to go 5 today. 5 wins you near $70.
Yeah, you just need one to smack.
That's it. Is that not it? Let me see Jose for you here a little bit. Game log. Jose. Obviously didn't have a home run last night. Didn't have one in the last game against the Angels. Before that, 1 and 2. I'll tell you this. Okay. In the month of May, which is what we're in for home runs, Jose's longest streak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is just 5 games without a home run. Now, he started the month on a 4, which then was also 4 at the end of April, so 8 games there. But again, this is just me looking at an average. He's averaging a home run about once every 4 or 5 games. Every 4 or 5 games. And he hasn't the last 2. So maybe we're on board for this. Let's go.
He's not leaving Colorado without
especially, exactly. I mean, that's the other thing. Coors Field is what we're talking about here. I don't even know who's starting for the Rockies tonight. I want to look this up, see if this guy gives up some bombs. I hope so. I hope he sucks. Ryan Feltner. Suck it, Felt. He's given up 6 home runs on the year in 55 innings. You don't know if something's bad. Tristan McKenzie's given up 9 in 52. Dude, that just the walks, I'm kind of the home runs for him. So Feltner, who's 1 and 4 with a 5 ERA. Let's get it done. Jose home run over the strikeouts for McKenzie. That'll lead to a Guardians win. Get signed up with Tipico. All right, we come back. Morning update. Boy, we're going to go around the association. I've got thoughts on the Celtics. And yes, ding dong, the witch is dead. Angel Hernandez has called it a career. Thank God. We'll get to that. Plenty other news. Morning update, grid, time up. All comes your way. Hour 2 upon us right here. I'm Big Plug.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. And then you saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right? Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party. Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
Plenty to get to after a long weekend. Baseball, little football, NBA Finals. We'll get to our plays for tonight as well with Typico. Welcome back. Matt Fontana Show. Streaming live YouTube, Twitch. We don't stream live on Instagram, but you can check us out there. And, of course, Twitter, at Matt Fontana Show. I was talking to my co-host last night on ESPN. He does the same thing. We're just adjusting. He's like, dude, YouTube, man? Like, the future of where we're doing this kind of stuff, it's where we're at. So drop us a follow, subscribe. YouTube, again, follow on Twitter and Instagram, at Matt Fontana Show. And coming very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. I've seen the beta testing, man. It looks good. Looks fine. We'll tell you all about that coming up. But right, nonetheless, let's get to it. The morning update, please.
All right, well, the Guardians' win streak does come to an end as they fall to the Rockies. However, they look to bounce back as Tristan McKenzie gets the nod tonight, Matt, and we had a little Typico boost going for us, so we're hoping for a lot of McKenzie strikeouts. Of course, the Guards win, and a Jose Ramirez home run. Will he do it tonight?
I feel like McKenzie kind of, like, I want to, I might pull up his game logs. I feel like he's really due for a good start. And I guess the start before, Minnesota, 6 2/3 of 2-hit baseball, right? That's not bad. Then before that, 6 2/3, just gave up 2 runs. I mean, his last outing gave up, the 3 solo home runs. Seems like he nibbles a little bit. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, his over-under is at 5.5 or is that 4.5? McKenzie strikeout. Sorry. I don't mean to throw the boost.
4.5.
Is that it again? Live? Oh. Bro, he's had that every single start this month. How about this? Just in the month of May. 6, 6, 5, 5, and 5. Every start, he has hit that. Let's get that. So that's almost your lock for tonight. Oh, I'm side betting the hell out of that. Come on now. Here we go. So, for McKenzie, who, by the way, in his 5 starts this month, he only has 1 decision, and that's a loss that he took when he gave up a couple runs against the White Sox. So I'll put it this way. He's due for a win. He's due to get a win. He'll be fine. Coors Field, the problem is, again, the home runs that he has given up how about this? In his 5 starts, he's given up 6 home runs this month. And you're at Coors Field where the ball flies out of there. Keep it on the ground. Don't nibble. I think my biggest thing with Tristan McKenzie that's been bothering me, he nibbles when he gets to 2 strikes. Like, he's trying to paint a corner, this and that. I just, every time, dude, I wonder, is his elbow fine? Like, is he doing all right? McKenzie's big start for him tonight. Keep the bats going. Put up some runs. What's the over-under for the game tonight, too? I really kind of like the over. You know what? I like the over Guardians runs here. Here I am, bit my own little parlay. Remind me for that tomorrow. Remind us for that tomorrow, Ryan. When we do our boost, I kind of want to do Guardians runs. All right, here we go. Tipico. Feltner. I got screwed on the Nerfy yesterday. I took no runs first inning. Got screwed. Let me see okay, Guardians total runs. 5.5 is what it's set at. 5.5. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I probably take the over there. Get some McKenzie strikeouts. Over the game is 10.5. I kind of like the under on that. Yeah. I'm thinking like a 6-2 win for the Guardians tonight. Can I go exacto? Can I do that?
You think
Let's
you
see.
can.
I love it. All right, get it done tonight. Find a win. Keep the bats hot. Naylor, find something. You know what Josh Naylor needs? That little, seeing eye off the end of the bat single. Just slap something out there. Just get back on base and feel pretty good. So we'll see. Get it done, guards. I like the 8:40 start time, too.
I do, too.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, well, the Celtics are going to the NBA Finals as they sweep the Indiana Pacers. They win 4-0. Jaylen Brown named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Jason Tatum, 26, 13, and 8 last night. Brown, 29, 6 and 2, 16 for Derek White, 17 for Drew Holiday, as the Celtics make the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years.
It's almost like they opened that Wonka bar and they got a golden ticket. The chick that turns into a blueberry, Fat Augustus Glump falling into the chocolate, Weird Willy Wonka with the cane. And Grandpa Joe's one of the biggest pieces of crap in cinematic history, okay? Bedridden for years. Hey, it's time to go to the chocolate factory. Well, all right, let's go. What are we doing here? Come on. Charlie's mom's sitting there working 3 jobs while Grandpa Joe's wasting away. What an ass. Oh, yeah, I'll go to the chocolate factory with you. Let's roll. Come on, Charlie. Get out there and get some work done, Grandpa Joe. What are you doing? The Celtics got handed this golden ticket. And what was the golden ticket? Injuries. Would the Cavs have had something better with Donovan Mitchell? Would the Heat have had something better with Jimmy Butler? You know, the Pacers, what Nembhard did, I think, is almost just related to what Tyrese Halliburton would have given you. I think the issue is the Pacers just fumbled the bag, man. Every time there was crucial moments to stop what the Celtics were doing or get a bucket on your own, the Pacers fucked it up every single time. How many games did they lead for 96% of the game?
Games 1, 3, and 4. There was a point in the fourth quarter where they had a 90% chance to win.
Well, last night, what was it? They went scoreless for the final 3:33. You can't do that. Siakam, Miles Turner, and there's some changes coming for the Pacers, I get. So, yes, am I crapping on Boston? Sure. The one thing, and I think it's a bigger conversation, actually, I want to have maybe after the grid here. The one thing that Boston shows you, man, you still need your stars, man. You do. But if you don't have Derek White, if you don't have Drew Holiday, if you don't have guys on that, dude, I'll even give you Peyton Pritchard from time to time. You have got to have those role players step up. Now for Boston, they get to sit around for 8 days. 8 days. I'd send them away. Be like, you guys get 2 days. You better be back here, but you get 2 days to go do what you want. Because I'm assuming, we'll get to our trends for tonight. I'm actually maybe leaning Minnesota tonight. I don't know. But now Dallas, the race is on to get the same rest and get all the time off. Boston got handed this path, and I know everybody's discussing it right now. The pressure on them to win this championship because of what you've been gifted. And all you missed was Kristaps Porzingis, and he's coming back. They have no excuse to not win this title. And they're favored, and I think they will be. As they should be. I'd probably honestly pick them against the Mavericks. Although, man, I keep sleeping on the Mavericks. I'm going to probably put my money on the Mavericks. I don't want to see the Celtics win jack squat nothing. But look at the job, man. You got through that Ime Udoka crap. Joe Mazzulla's a fine coach, but Brad freaking Stevens, man. What moves he has made for that team.
I said I'd pay him a bajillion dollars to come
wouldn't
back
it be
to
great?
Head coach.
For the Cavs?
Yeah.
I don't think he's leaving that.
I don't think he's either, but that's...
Well, no, he's got a job set for life. And you want to know what? If it ever went bad with Mazzulla, just send Brad Stevens back on down there. If I'm the Celtics, there's no way in no world I'm ever letting Brad Stevens leave. No, he's ascended to that level. But, it's a lot easier said than done about making these trades and getting these players in there. And there's a little stink on the Celtics. Here's your stat. I was doing this a lot last night on ESPN. 6 out of the last 8 years, they have made it to the conference finals. Ryan, this is only the second time they've gone to the finals. They've had that. They can't get over that hump of the Eastern Conference Final. You've now done that. The thing is, did you learn anything from the Celtics in that 4-game series against the Pacers? Is it impossible to because of how the Pacers were hurt, but they gave up a good fight? I feel like Boston's pretty prime. Now the debate rages about the time off. And I think it's probably more for guys like Derek White, right? He was shooting hot. He was good. I don't know if you want him sitting down, but I'm not going to say congratulations to the Celtics. I hate Boston, but hey, man, good luck, I guess. Go Celtics. Get it done.
All right, well,
hey,
more.
Really quick.
No?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Have these two Western and Eastern Conference Finals, have they been a disappointment to you? Have they been, as the average casual fan, has this been a disappointment for you in these two finals? These have not been good series. I mean, they've been competitive series, but it's more about the teams just choking things away. The Timberwolves can't get over the hump. The Pacers just couldn't score in clutch times. Have these been good series? Have they been a disappointment to you as the average viewing fan? What would you say?
I'd say a little. I'd say the Eastern, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I still think the Western is good. I mean, when you have Luka hitting game-winning threes.
Well, and more about, the Pacers not having anything for the Celtics, I kind of understood that. The fact that the Timberwolves don't seem to have anything for the Mavericks is very disappointing to me. And I'm thinking Timberwolves get one tonight. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I think they're going to get one tonight.
All right, well, in a more somber news, basketball legend Bill Walton passed away Monday after a long battle with cancer. Walton was a 3-time National Player of the Year at UCLA. He brought them 2 national titles and was the NBA MVP in the 1977-78 season.
You see the outpouring of funny stories and just all the great things about Bill Walton. He was just a character, man. And I thought about this because of you and I of a generation. We only know Bill Walton as Grateful Dead super fan on fun broadcasts for college basketball. That's all I know of Bill Walton. I never watched him play. I didn't see what his game was like. And I thought about this. Which athletes can you think of that became more famous after their careers ended? Do not say O.J. Simpson. I'm not going down that path today. But somebody like Bill Walton, where he, for a lot of us, was just known as that kind of funny guy and just who he was, let alone the fact he was a hell of a good player, too.
Reggie Miller, maybe?
That's a good one because he's turned himself into a lot of the broadcasters.
Oh, well, Kenny Smith.
Kenny Jet, yeah.
Charles and Shaq were already generational.
But I would say a lot of people might know of a generation know Chuck more for his antics on Inside the NBA and stuff like that. By the way, why are they? Man, that sucks. That sucks.
Never have good things.
I know there's ideas that they should go rogue and do it on their own or that. They can't do it without the NBA rights. They can't do it. Half of the fun is that is why I'm going to miss that so much. When on Thursday nights in the middle of the winter, you had the back-to-back primetime games. And sometimes the Cavs are on, but even not. You had the 8 o'clock game, you had the 10 o'clock game, you had those guys there all night. God bless it, am I going to miss that, man. That's going to suck. But I was thinking about that one. Certainly RIP and thoughts and prayers out to his family and just really the NBA community on that with his passing.
All right, Matt. Well, I did say no good news, but a little good news here, actually. It is officially the end of an era. MLB umpire Angel Hernandez is retiring effective immediately. The 62-year-old ump has umped thousands of games, and he's been in the MLB since 1991.
He hasn't umped in almost a month. His last game was May 4th. All these reports are out that baseball came to him with the idea and he wasn't opposed. It was a parting of the way. It's one of my favorite things. Not my favorite things, but in sports when somebody gets fired, the verbiage, did you part ways? Were you dismissed? Were you relieved of your duties? I'm sure baseball came to him and said, all right, man, we've had enough. And I think it is the evolution now of every game I get a report. And it's not the last 2-minute report in basketball. Bro, there are social media accounts dedicated to just report cards for umpires. And then on that report card, it straight up says they messed that call up and it led to this run or it led to this. And some of these umps that have 99% and just their one missed call didn't result in a run and all that. I'm a baseball purist, and I'm just keep coming back to, man, I think I really like the robo-umps. I'm starting to really think about it, and I miss that element of the game of working towards the strike zone, right? That was I was a catcher for most of my life. You got to work the umpire and framing and knowing about what their strike zone is. Is he a pitcher-friendly ump? Is he a hitting-friendly ump? All that kind of stuff. And the more and more, when I watch it on my TV screen, when I can see the ball, what do? They put the box up there, and I see the ball hit, I want to call it a strike. And sometimes that helps the Guardians. And I think the one thing, Austin Hedges is a savant. He is so good at framing pitches. If I asked for the robo-umps, I think that would actually be a detriment to a team like the Guardians because they have somebody that can really do that. But guys like Angel, you want to know the other thing about Angel Hernandez? Because I know he just became a figure that people just love to crap on. Why did he never get better? Like, if you knew, and if baseball was really coming to you with all of these printouts, be like, you suck ass. Step it up. Like, why did he not take that upon himself to go, you know what, I'm going to change? It almost seemed like he entrenched himself. Like, if you're going to make fun of me, you thought I was bad before, watch me now. I really feel like that's where Angel Hernandez got. But even for him, like, it got to a point, like, I wouldn't want to deal with that crap anymore. I'm done. I'm done with you idiots on social media and all this other kind of stuff. I'm just going to retirement. And there's the union that was involved and all that kind of stuff. And they'll fight robo-umps till the day they die because they don't want guys losing jobs and all that. I think it's time. I really do. I mean, you have so many cameras, you have so many things, it's not even a question. And how many times you got to go to replay and do this and do that? Just make the calls, get to the robo-umps. I think it's coming sooner rather than later. Well, speaking of coming sooner rather than later, the Immaculate Grid, here we go. We're on a streak.
Yeah, we're doing well.
We did well last week. Short week. Browns today. Let's finish it on out. Here's how it goes. We will ask for your help. YouTube comments. You can tweet at us at MattFontana83, at RyanTyler33. You need a player going up and out. Ooh, 2 statistical categories here. Hall of Famer and 10,000 yards passing in their career. Let me start the timer. We got plenty to fill in. Go!
All right, 10,000 for the Ravens. I mean, we could save Joe Flacco, but we can think of another Raven for that. For Ravens-Browns.
Yeah, we can come up with another Brown Raven, too. So I would say probably Joe Flacco there. Yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah, Favre. Hall of Fame. Dude, Steve Young, Troy Aikman. I mean, whoever you want to go with, it doesn't matter. Browns Hall of Famer, the late, great Mr. Jim Brown.
You know what?
What?
Should we do Joe Thomas?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Do Joe Thomas, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We'll never stop saying that. There he is. God, those old jerseys were so bad. So bad.
Randy Moss?
Sure.
He didn't play for...
No.
He played a season for Baltimore, I think.
Did he?
I think he did. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else.
And obviously you went to New England. All right, hold off on that. If you want, that's fine. I mean, another option would be Steve Hutchinson.
Unless I'm thinking of a different receiver. I'm almost positive Randy Moss played like a season on the Ravens.
Are you not thinking of Chris Carter?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Steve Hutchinson would be who I would say. He's in the Hall of Fame. He works, so just put Steve Hutchinson there.
For the Vikings, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I maybe.
I mean, let's just save it. Let's skip it and go back.
All right, Baltimore, Cleveland, Kevin Zeitler works for a lot of this. And then Green Bay, Deshaun Kaiser, Demarius Randall, Morgan Burnett. Go Demarius Randall. Wait, don't do Kaiser. I don't know if he actually ever appeared in the game for the Packers.
I'm pretty sure he did, but...
Okay, that's fine. But Demarius Randall. There you go. Yep. Okay. All right. So now Vikings, Ravens, Vikings, Packers.
For Vikings, Packers, Brett
Favre, yes. Favorite. So it's good you didn't put Aaron Rodgers in there for 10,000 yards passing or Hall of Fame. Well done on that.
I mean, we can think of somebody else, but
can we? No, I'm sure we can. See, I don't think on Randy Moss. I didn't Google it. I'm not going to Google it. We'll keep the sanctity for that for a second. But, damn. I don't think Ryan Mallett ever played for the Vikings. Josh Johnson, I know, played for the Ravens. I got a sneaky suspicion I think he played for the Vikings, too. I actually think Josh Johnson works there. I think so. But again, hold off. You want to check YouTube quick, see if we got a bailout on this? We got names. We just don't know if it's, like, for sure. Like, we'll finish this out. Like, there's no problem on the grid this morning, but...
Zadarius Smith. I don't know which one he's talking about. We might already.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. He's probably talking Ravens. Well, no. He played in Minnesota, too. Wait, Zadarius Smith might work. Go back. Right?
For the Ravens?
Did he not play for the Ravens?
Zadarius Smith?
No. He works for Raven. I'm sorry. He works for Vikings Packers. I think he's working for Vikings.
I'm almost positive Ravens. Or maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if you believe it, I'll ride with it. I can't think of anybody like Xavier Rhodes. No. Like quarterbacks, I'm drawing blanks on that. Sean Mannion, no. Kyle Bowler, I don't think so. Oh God. No. Oh my God. Oh no. He's an analyst for ESPN, or he was. Bald guy, not Matt Hasselbeck, the other guy. Trent Dilfer. No. Maybe not in Minnesota. I'm getting him and Hasselbeck confused. Damn. I'll leave it up to you.
Oh,
I'll leave it up to you. I don't want to ruin the pop that we would get if we hit this with Randy Moss. I think it sounds right. You're making me think it sounds right. Here we go. Is he going to click it? Click it. Oh, no! Oh!
Dude,
Something wasn't feeling it, man. I think he went New England, maybe Seattle. Did he go to Tennessee for a season? I think he did. Raiders.
Oh, Charles is saying Zadarius did play for the Vikings.
I think that works. I think that did work there.
Or I meant the Ravens. I knew he played for Vikings.
Yeah, I think he worked there. I really do. Vikings, Raiders, Patriots, Vikings, Titans, 49ers for Randy Moss. Zadarius Smith, I think, would have worked there.
Dalvin Cook.
When did he play for the Ravens?
I'm saying. Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray.
That's a good pull, yeah.
Mike Wallace.
Yeah. Zadarius Smith we should have gotten. I think he worked for multiple, but yeah, we probably should.
I don't see Zadarius on this list.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah. That I should.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's the name of the game with the grid, man. That's the name of the game with the grid. It's a tough one. It's a finicky one.
The Ravens drafted Zadarius. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, then he went to Minnesota and also played in Green Bay. That's right. He would have worked for all of it. All right. To each their own. All right, let's catch a break. We'll do time hop. We got to finish up with the NBA Finals as far as the Celtics going, and we got to get to our plays for tonight on the Western Conference side of things. Time hop coming your way next. So Fontana Show, Big Play, Twitter, YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We're also up on Instagram. Back right after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone. And at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today. All right? Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party. Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
All right, we jump in a little bit of timeout post Memorial Day weekend. We got to get into the NBA. We'll get our picks for tonight as well. Welcome back, Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. 28th of May, we head on back and tell you what we got, including 2 years ago today. The Browns signed David Njoku to a 4-year, $56 million extension, 28 guaranteed, and at the time made him the 5th highest paid tight end on average per year. And the more important thing I brought up the day that they signed him was he then joined a list of draft picks that had signed second deals with the Browns. And, Batonio signed multiple ones. Garrett, Ward, Grant Delpit now. Hopefully Jeremiah Usu-Koromo was soon. That's how you build your team. When you draft these guys and you develop them, you want to sign them to second deals. And then even with the Browns of what they've done, even guys they've acquired, right? If they can get a second deal now for Amari Cooper, who is here. MJ Emerson, well in line. Some of those advanced stats that came out over the weekend about MJ Emerson, man, he's a dog, man. He is so good. That money that maybe you thought was going to go to Greg Newsome now goes to MJ Emerson. But what I'm saying is, that has been one of the biggest turns with Andrew Barrett. I know he didn't draft David Njoku, but the guys that were here, he's been able to keep them here. And, it's a great question, and we can debate it all day if you want, but what is Andrew Barrett actually best at? Drafting, free agents, trades, or getting deals done? And I think about a lot of the deals that he has negotiated. And Ryan, I feel like maybe his best attribute is negotiation, is getting deals done with players. Because look at all the deals, Grant Delpit could have said, hey man, I'm waiting out for the big money here. Or, again, working on Jock, working on some of these other guys. I think that's the most powerful. And especially with Miles is going to need another deal here coming up soon. I don't blame the Deshaun Watson deal on him. Yes. Does that fall on his feet? Sure. We maybe knew what the other things were at foot there. But a smart move and not restructuring at this point. I'm going to hold out on that. And he's done a good job. And Njoku, you view him as a top 10 tight end as you should. And does the contract meet the value? when you get the quarterback play, sure, and you see those glimpses. I think obviously the biggest thing with Njoku's been injuries. And when he's healthy, he can be a dynamic player for this team. So, well done. Money good spent there, I think, 2 years ago today.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting anything near what he was putting up with Joe Flacco towards the last back half of the season, then he's immediately a top 5 tight end. Like, his stats would have told you during that regular season stretch, he was like top 3. What he was doing was really ridiculous. Now the question is, okay, is that going to continue with Deshaun? Because we haven't yet to see that. And for tight ends, I mean, maybe now it's a newer trend. You're starting to see tight ends make a big impact right away. But, I mean, it's usually like year 3, 4, even sometimes 5 for a lot of these tight ends to really break out. I mean, go look at Kyle Pitts, for instance. But now you're seeing a little shift with like Sam Laporta.
Well, I think it's like if you have one, you use them. You obviously would much rather have a receiver out there, but like if you got one, you're able to use it, and it's not ever like the focal point of what you think your offense is going to be. But when you got one, it really just makes things a lot easier. 5 years ago today, 2019. Baker Mayfield sat down with Complex. He called Colin Cowherd a liar. Remember that beef that everybody he had? He just hated Colin Cowherd, and Cowherd wanted to be right about him. He said, Baker said to Complex, Cowherd, a liar is a liar, and that guy is just full of it and needs to be put in his place. Well, Cowherd got the last laugh in 2019, but they got a beef. It's not the first nor the last. Do you know about have you ever seen the video of Terry Collins getting ejected from the New York Mets?
Yeah.
Our asses in the jackpot. It happened this day, 2016. I sent the video out this morning. It is one of my favorite sports videos of all time.
Shout out that umpire, man. He stood his ground.
Tommy, I think it was Tommy, or not Tommy Lasorda.
He wasn't taking any shit.
Well, no, that's what umpires are. And obviously they had a long-standing relationship. Terry's like, you're better than that, Tommy. Noah Syndergaard threw behind a guy. The funny thing is when, like, Neil Walker and Syndergaard are sitting there, well, what are you throwing me out for? You threw behind a guy after a warning had already been issued. Or at least from baseball had been. And Terry just loses a gasket. And the best part of that video is just the umpire going, yeah, but our ass is in the jackpot now. He goes, we don't do anything. We get in trouble here. I love that video. It happened this day, 2016. It was one of the more popular memes for a long time, I think, in basketball. And if I just went, what would you think of?
Bro, that's my Bearcat.
Lance Stevenson, 2014. 10 years ago today.
That's my Bearcat.
Lance Stevenson just blowing in LeBron's ear. I don't think I'd ever do that to another man, but try to get in LeBron's head. I mean, didn't work in that series per se, but that was a weird one. Pretty weird one this day, 2014. This day, 2006, Barry Bonds hit home run number 715 to pass Babe Ruth for second all time. Do you view Bonds as the home run king? Or is it still Hammer and Hank?
Jose.
Jose will get there one day. He's better than Bonds. He said that this weekend. He's better than Bonds. This day, 1986, Larry Bird won his 3rd consecutive MVP. He joins Wilt and Bill Russell. I should have asked that. Wilt and Bill Russell, the only players to win 3 straight. LeBron went 3 out of 4. Actually, I'm sorry. He went 4 out of 5 between 09 and 13. Here's your trivia. Who won it in 11 to break up that streak?
Derrick Rose.
That is correct. You knew that from the jump right there.
I did.
The next 3,
I think
it should have been Jokic.
I can name a lot. That's the one thing I do is name
MVPs.
For some reason, by year, that's one thing that I can remember.
You're pretty good on? Well, we'll have to try that trivia one day for you. This day, 1957, the National League allowed the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants to leave and move out to the West Coast to become the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. So there you are. Very happy birthday goes out to Jerry West, Kirk Gibson. Just pumping it around second base. Former Indian Johnny Peralta, most notably known for getting LASIK. Jim Thorpe, Ian Fleming, who wrote James Bond, Kylie Minogue, Rudy Giuliani, Seth Rollins, and Gladys Knight and the Pips. But Gladys Knight all celebrating birthdays today. All right, 2 movies for you today. One a little off the beaten path. The other one straight up there as far as one of the better sports franchises of all time. But first, we start with off the beaten path. This is a movie that came out this day, 2021.
Okay.
This was an offshoot of a long-standing Disney series This was a live-action film surrounding one of the more popular villains in Disney history. You think you got it?
Yeah, it's oh my gosh, Maleficent.
No, good guess though. No, but you're on the right track. I led you down.
Cruella.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Cruella is correct. Emma Stone. Yeah. Haven't seen either one, but
Maleficent is Angelina Jolie.
Angelina
right?
Jolie, correct. Yeah. Which I didn't know that was the actual name of that villain there, but yes, Cruella. This day, 2021. All right, we go back to this day, 1982. I start by saying this is one of the most popular sports movie franchises in history.
Okay.
A lot of movies, an original run of 5, and now we're back into it with multiple sequels and now spin-offs. Do you think you got the franchise?
Air Bud? No, that's way too early.
No, it's not Air Bud. Sports franchise, legacy historic sports franchise. Ryan goes Air Bud.
Is
No,
it
it's not Air
The
Bud.
Sandlot?
No.
There's 5 movies.
5 in just the original run. Then they came back and made 2 more, and now they're on the offshoots.
Oh, duh, Rocky.
Rocky. Which one do you think came out this day, 82?
82. Rocky 2.
Now close. 3.
3.
Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang comes out with 1982 with Rocky 3.
Air Bud's better.
Air Bud's Rocky Power Rankings.
I've never seen a Rocky movie.
What?
Yeah.
1, 4,
Doesn't he lose in the first one?
3. Well, yes, he lost, but the fact is that he went the distance with the champ.
Is that Apollo or was that?
Yeah, Apollo. Yeah. And that's the whole point. Now you got Creed, you got all the options, that kind of stuff. Hot take: Rocky 2 sucked. I didn't like it. And the whole gimmick was he had lost his edge and he had to find it. And Apollo's the bad guy. Rocky 3 didn't do anything for me. So Mickey dies, and Apollo's got to help train him, and it's again the same thing. He's lost his edge. Now Rocky 4.
Then when he fights that big Russian dude?
Yeah, he ends the Cold War,
What's his
man.
name?
Drago. No, I've not seen any of the new ones. Because apparently didn't Adonis Creed, because that's the new one, right? Michael B. Jordan. Didn't he fight Drago's kid in the most recent one? Don't know.
I know he fought Jonathan Majors. I don't know if that was his kid.
He fought Jonathan Majors too? In one of those movies?
I think the newest one.
Oh, okay. I'm out. I haven't seen any of them. So
Before he got canceled.
Yeah, well, deservedly so. Today's also National Hamburger Day. Toppings on a burger. Go. You're making your burger. What do you want?
Lettuce, tomato,
Yes.
onion,
Now.
pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah, mayo.
I go mayo and barbecue. Now, I'll do like straight yellow mustard and ketchup too. I will never mix ketchup with mayo, though. I don't know why I won't do that.
I only like mayo.
I like mayo, and I'll do barbecue sauce on that hamburger there. But today's National Hamburger Day, so get out there and enjoy it the best that you can. All right, Boston going to the finals. I want to bring this up to kind of circle back to the Cavs. So I want to update our 2 for Tuesday this morning. Which we asked everybody, which is the more critical thing for the Cavs to get right this offseason? The coaching hire or the trades? Quick update on that, please, Ryan, where we stand at Matt Fontana Show.
60-40 in favor of player trades.
Okay. And that is exactly where you and I were at. I think the player trades are A, more important to your team, and B, they're harder to do. The Cavs have their, they got their pool here of coaches. Whoever you offer the job to is probably going to take it. And I'm sure they'll do a great job fine. For me, it is 1,000% the players and what you are going to get out of the group of players that eventually when you make these trades. Now, that being said, I watch how these finals have played out. And I realize it is 2 stars at this point. And if you believe that Evan Mobley is going to continue to listen, Evan's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Jaylen Brown. You start with those guys, but I can't stop this feeling about watching guys like Derek White and watching guys like PJ Washington and how many of these other guys were acquired in other moves, like these savvy moves, that you're still supplementing stars. You can't go anywhere without a star in the NBA. But I look around and I guess I'm now kind of a little more worried about that second tier of guys for the Cavs. And it should be Max Strus. And it should be George Niang. But these moves that you're going to make with these trades that, again, I think it's going to be Garland and Allen, you're talking about second-tier type guys. Unless, do you believe the Cavs can make a move to get another star to run with Donovan Mitchell? I don't think so. I doubt it, right? Like, I doubt it. And you could say, and this would probably be where you're talking about the divide between Allen and Garland and which one's going to go or not. Those guys should be filling the role of Derek White. They should be filling the role of like a PJ Watt. Different players I get, but I'm talking about on your list of guys to step up in series. And one of the biggest issues the Cavs had, none of those guys stepped up. None of those guys elevated their game. Now, Allen was hurt, and things changed when Donovan Mitchell got hurt. But I watch this as it goes on. I'm just seeing, like, what are other teams doing around here? What are we seeing from some of these other teams that the Cavs need to start following? The Cavs are kind of blazing their own path for a little bit by saying we're going to go with these two bigs and it's going to work with Donovan Mitchell and the rest of these guards. Bro, now it's starting to look that we need to look around and say, what are these other teams doing and what can we do to emulate what the rest of these teams are doing?
Well, priority A, and it's not even close for me, is you have to upgrade your wings. It's not even close to me. Like you need a guy that can play both ways. Isaac Okoro, unfortunately, he's known. Like, that's fine. He'll come off the bench. But like Max Strus doesn't really play both ways, and he was just honestly, for what we paid him, horrible.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I mean, Dean Wade, he was fine when he played. But then who else? Who were really their wings? And Dean Wade's more of a forward anyway.
Yeah. You want to get to this? Just came down this morning. NBA blockbuster trades we want to see this offseason. This comes from Chris Herring.
I would do a lot of insane things if we could get Paul George here.
He's got 2 trades in here for the Cavs. He's got 2. So Chris Herring runs through 10 free agency trades, moves that he wants to see in the NBA. Blockbuster moves. 2 of them include the Cavs. We start. Number 1, Philadelphia signs LeBron James.
Not happening.
Not happening. All right. There it is. Number 1. Number 2, Oklahoma City signs Klay Thompson. Thought he wanted to go to Orlando, but okay. Number 3, the Lakers sign Paul George. If they lost LeBron, would you just flip Paul George over to go play for the Lakers? I don't even remember, 5, 6, whatever. Lakers trade for Trae Young. Okay, fine. Again, whatever number 1. Orlando signs D'Angelo Russell. The Bulls sign Chris Paul. The Clippers re-sign James Harden.
What year is it?
I don't know. And 2 deals.
Wait, what about James Harden?
He stays with the Clippers.
Okay.
Memphis trades for Mitchell Robinson. And 2 moves for the Cavs. Number 1, San Antonio trades for Darius Garland.
Yeah, that's been a hot one.
Yes. Herring writes, one of the bigger questions for the future of the league centers, not league centers, centers for the league, on the San Antonio Spurs and who will ultimately serve as the soon-to-be superstar Victor Wembanyama's floor general. Garland, just 24 years old, could be a great fit for the Spurs despite his down season. It's fair to wonder whether he's best utilized sharing the ball so much with another star guard like Donovan Mitchell, and whether Cleveland's spacing on offense was ideal of having both Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the floor together. Should the Spurs deal for Garland, they'd be banking on him not only making life easier for Wembanyama, but also returning to his one-time all-star form that he had a couple years ago and generating more ball-handling opportunities. To his credit, Garland performed far better after returning from his 19-game absence that stemmed from a fractured jaw, hitting 84 triples, which was 10th best in the NBA after the all-star break, and he connected on almost 40% of his threes during that span. Is that true? Why did I miss that?
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
And totally out of the blue, would you trade Donovan and Evan Mobley for Victor Wembanyama?
Yes.
I'd listen to it.
I'd probably.
I would listen to
I'd
it.
probably do it. All that being said, if the Spurs really wanted to get Garland to take on the deal, they would need some maneuvering. They only have $20 million in cap space this summer, meaning it might need to move somebody like backup center Zach Collins in order to absorb Garland's hefty salary. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, well, what are we getting from San Antonio? I want no picks. I will tell you, I want no picks in these. You want to sprinkle one in? Fine. This has got to be player for player trades. This has got to be player for player trades. So I haven't run through the Spurs lineup to see who we could get, but okay, so there's the Spurs. So again, Chris Herring has 10 blockbuster deals he wants to see. One of involving the Cavs, Spurs trade for Darius Garland. The second, Jared Allen Traded to the Wizards? Huh.
Ew.
Last season was clearly one to forget for the Wizards and their fans, and they sparked more criticism, whatever.
Ew.
Washington parted ways with Wes Unseld. Okay, fine.
Don't you dare say it.
What?
I will not have Kyle Kuzma on my team.
Oh, no, yeah. We'll see. He writes, there's plenty of things that need fixing for the Wizards. One of them is rim protection. Wizards ranked third worst in the league by allowing opponents to shoot almost 3 percentage points better than league average when contesting their shots near the basket. He also said at the deadline, they dealt away Daniel Gafford, who's been a boom and a real help for the Mavericks now, leaving a giant need for the Wizards. That's where a player like Allen could clearly help, one-time All-Star, all that kind of stuff. Allen is on a good contract to just $20 million a season, meaning the Wizards would likely have to part ways with some of its draft picks in order to make the deal. Don't want it. Don't want Kuzma. I don't want him, and I don't want draft picks, not the Wizards.
Jordan Poole?
I'd take Jordan Poole, but I think they got to build around him, right?
No. Absolutely.
Who the hell would they trade? Dude, Jordan Poole is owed $96 million.
That's what happens
He
when you
came
play
off
with
the
Steph.
bench.
That's what happens when you
Came
play
off
with
the
Steph and Clay.
bench. Got punched by Draymond. Got $96 million from the Wizards. How does that work? I don't like either one of those trades. I don't like either one. And again, I know that one of those two guys, if not both, are going to be. I think it tells you, too, that each of those guys were representative in a trade here. But, yeah, I don't like either one of those.
I want Paul George.
He ain't coming here, man. He ain't coming here. I think he's going to stay in L.A. They're going to give him the same extension they gave Kawhi. Not the full extension, but for a couple of years to try to keep it together. Because you'd have to give Paul George the 5-year max. He ain't doing that. Not at this point of his career. I just don't think you're getting a star. Like, to your point, like, okay. First off, I don't think you can package Garland and Mobley. I'm sorry, Garland and Allen together. Is that not like $50 million you'd have to get coming back?
Yeah, you could probably package Jarrett and Karras.
I mean, Karras is another kind of forgotten guy in this whole piece of what they're going to do and moves kind of like that. I think you are going to trade. Oh, okay.
I mean, what are you doing with Niang?
You might as well keep him. You just believe that he's going to get better. I don't know. I mean, the other option is you get to a 3-team trade and you try to, have some other team absorb this or you move this guy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kobe Altman has got to be staying up all night burning the midnight oil. He's got to find these coaches and go through that. As soon as he gets done interviewing Kenny Atkinson and Terry Stotts, he's sitting there going, all right, well, okay, what move can we make here? Yes, Allen's deal is very palatable for the player that he is. But I'm assuming whatever team trades for him also knows then they probably are going to be on the hook to try to sign him to an extension too. If you traded for Jared Allen with just 2 years left, wouldn't you say, like, no, we're going to sign him to an extension too? Garland? I'm starting to lean more about, like, just you might as well just keep Darius Garland. You might as well.
What if you could potentially, and I don't know the exact details.
Yeah, we got to work out
I think
all
Jamal Murray's a free agent.
Oh, I'd love that.
No, I'm talking about not even acquiring Jamal Murray. I'm saying in the sense of a trade. But then again, that wouldn't make any sense. I don't know.
Christian Kark of NOLA.com says the Pelicans have resumed talks about pursuing Darius Garland. Obviously, David Griffin has a relationship with the Cavs. Did he not draft Darius? No, he was gone by then. And it is believed that Garland's camp will request a trade if Donovan Mitchell stays. Isn't that something, too? That Garland would be the one to pull that? Like, dude, if Mitchell comes back, I want out. I don't even want to be here if he's going to stay.
I think he knows that. Maybe he knows the writing's on the wall and he needs to do it.
And it doesn't work. Yeah, I guess. I used to do something on my prior show. We'll maybe do it. Either, neither, or both. Who gets traded? Garland, Allen, either, neither, both. And I don't think neither is an answer here. Like, one of them is getting moved. So do you think it's one of the two or both of them? You want to do that in tomorrow's show?
I just don't know. I don't know how you keep Darius. I mean, I understand. You can't just trade him for trade's sake.
What are you going to get more back for, though? Jared Allen or Darius Garland? Probably Darius Garland. Right? Probably. Maybe. He had the worst year, but Allen plays a non-premium position.
But you could also say I think Jared Allen could definitely make an immediate impact to a contending team.
Well, I think Darius Garland, when right, could do that too. But that's where I think Kobe Altman
there's a lot more teams banking on, okay, I just need a defensive anchor that's my missing piece rather than they're looking for a point guard.
It depends the team, too, because if you're a team that thinks you're going to have to deal with Jokic or deal with the guys up there in Minnesota, a team out west, you might be more apt to get a guy like Jared Allen, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Because you got to face these guys. In the East, a little different, right? What did Denver say when they came out? Minnesota was literally built to beat us. They were built and constructed to beat us, and they did that. Now you see some of the struggles that Minnesota's having against Dallas, and maybe they're not built to beat them. So Kobe is running through this, makes the best fit. I think here's where I'm at. I feel more apt that Allen is going to get moved. But then if Garland is truly going to request a trade, then he's going to be gone too. I think they'll both be gone. Not in the same deal. I don't think there's any world, and somebody could tell me I'm wrong, like maybe there is a contract out there that works. I don't think it's going to be the same deal. Get a 3-team deal, send one there, you sprinkle in Karis LeVert, throw another guy in here. That's, you know what? Put me down for that. Put me down in the book. Typico, right there. Put me down. I think it's going to be a 3-team trade. You send Garland here. You send Allen there. You sprinkle in maybe. I don't want to see Karis LeVert go, but you sprinkle in a Karis LeVert there, and you get your players back, and I don't want any picks. I think that's really what's going to have to be. So you got to get 2 teams involved for this. Kobe Altman's going to have to work for it. We're going to have to work for it tonight. We need Tristan McKenzie to work for it tonight. Let's go. Typico. Big one. Big one. A bing bang bomb here is what I need for a little bit of Jose Ramirez. Our friends down in Cincinnati, they love calling them piss missiles. Yes. I'll take one. Jose homer, over strikeouts for McKenzie. That'll lead to a Guardians win and hopefully by 2 and a very healthy Ryan. Plus 1,200 there, right?
Plus 1,250.
Get betting. You vote on it, I guess. Get betting with Typico. Use that code Fontana150 when you sign up. Deposit $150 as a new customer. With that code, you will get 2 $75 protected bets right into your account there with Typico. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's get after it. Do you want to get after our picks for tonight, Ryan?
Do it.
We got the Dallas Mavericks at home trying to close out those Minnesota Timberwolves. I did not check. I want to give everybody the most updated line. 1.5, I believe, for Dallas. Is that what you got? I think so. Face ID. I just want to make sure I'm right on this. Ooh, French Open going on. Korpachtis or Kruger?
I'm seeing Mavs 1.5.
1.5, there it is. All right, let's get into it. Our score predictions, please. Our trends, I should say. I'll start with Minnesota. They are just 2-6 against the spread their last 8 games. Also 2-6 straight up in their last 8. They are 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games against Dallas. 1-4 straight up in their last 5. But Minnesota is 10-4 against the spread their last 14 games on the road. But Minnesota is just 2-7 straight up in their last 9 games on the road against the Mavericks. Mavs coming in 5-game win streak. 12-3 straight up in their last 15 games at home. Dallas 7-2 again straight up in their last 9 at home against Minnesota. Over has hit 4 out of the last 5 games for Dallas. Minnesota over 6 out of their last 8. My gut says take Minnesota here. But the over-under is just 209.5. My bet tonight is going to be the over. What about you?
I'll go Mavericks close this one out.
Mavericks closing on out. We'll see. Do you want some Guardians trends for tonight while we got a minute?
Sure.
All right, hang on. NBA, or I'm sorry, let's forward to baseball. Baseball, Guards in action tonight. We've already taken the Guards minus a 1.5, but for your other bets, let's see what we got. 10.5 is the over-under for this game. I kind of like the under. It's a lot of runs, man. And I know they put up a lot yesterday, but sometimes there's a little letdown after that. We'll see. All right, trends. Guardians 9-1 straight up in their last 10, 6-2 straight up in their last 8 games on the road. Over has hit, you know how I love this, 6 out of their last 7 games. They play on a Tuesday for the Guardians, but also 4 out of their last 6 games. Over has hit Colorado's last 9 of their last 13. Colorado 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games at home. Huh. Well, I will take the Guards anyway. I'll take the under on that. Enjoy it on up. Tuesday, we got Enter the Jungle tonight. James Rapine, Andrew Fox Miller talking other but Bengals and the return with Josh Maria Cribbs. Hey, I saw Jamari Thrash on the Big Play Cleveland show last night.
Yes.
Get all the replays, folks. Follow us on Big Play. You can also just check out our website, bigplay.com. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m., another Wednesday edition of the show. We'll talk to you then. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.